My name is Michael, and for 7 years, I was the best father I knew how to be. I changed diapers at 3 a.m. I kissed scraped knees. I taught my daughter to ride a bike. I stayed up all night when she had the flu. I read bedtime stories until my voice went hoarse. I loved that little girl more than life itself. And then, one random Tuesday afternoon, I discovered she wasn't mine. But before we dive into this story, if you're new to Storytime Bravo, welcome to the family. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story like this one. And if you're already part of our community, show some love by dropping a like right now. Trust me, you're going to want to hear how this ends. Now, let's begin. 7 years ago, my wife Jessica came home from the hospital with our baby girl. We named her Emma. She had tiny fingers, a button nose, and eyes that seemed to look right through you even as a newborn. I fell in love instantly. Those first few years were hard, sleepless nights, endless crying, the stress of new parenthood. But they were also magical. Emma's first smile. Her first word, it was "Dada," and I cried. Her first steps, stumbling into my arms. Jessica and I were high school sweethearts. We'd been together since we were 16. Got married at 22. Had Emma at 24. We were living the dream, or so I thought. Looking back now, there were signs. Little things I missed because I was too busy being a dad, working long hours as an electrician to support my family. Jessica was distant sometimes. Distracted. She'd get text messages and quickly put her phone away. She'd go out with friends and come home late, smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. But I trusted her. We'd been together for 12 years. Why wouldn't I trust her? The first real crack appeared when Emma was about 5 years old. We were at a family barbecue, my side of the family. My mother was taking pictures of Emma, and she said something that stuck with me. "It's so funny," Mom said, studying Emma's face. "She doesn't really look like either of you, does she?" I laughed it off. "She's got Jessica's nose. Maybe. But her eyes, her hair color, the shape of her face." Mom trailed off, then shook her head. "I'm probably just being silly. Every child is unique." But the comment bothered me. I started paying attention. Emma had dark brown hair. Jessica and I both had light brown hair. Emma had these striking green eyes. Jessica had blue eyes. I had hazel. Emma's skin tone was olive, Mediterranean looking. Jessica and I were both fair-skinned. Genetics are complicated, I told myself. Recessive genes. Throwbacks to grandparents. It happens. But the seed of doubt had been planted. I started noticing other things too. The way Jessica would get defensive when I mentioned Emma's features. The way she changed the subject when my mom brought up baby photos. "Emma looks nothing like her baby pictures of you," my sister mentioned once. "Kids change as they grow," Jessica snapped. Why is everyone so obsessed with who she looks like? Why was she so defensive? Then came Emma's 6th birthday party. We invited all her little friends from kindergarten, and their parents came too. One of the dads was a guy named Ryan Torres. He worked in tech, lived a few blocks away, had a son in Emma's class. Nice guy. We'd chatted at school pickup a few times. But when Ryan walked into our backyard for the party, I saw Jessica freeze. Actually freeze, her face going pale, her hand gripping the edge of the table. "Jess? You okay?" I asked. "Fine," she said too quickly. "Just didn't expect so many people." Ryan's wife, Monica, was lovely, friendly, warm, easy to talk to. Ryan seemed normal too. But I kept noticing Jessica avoiding him. When he'd move to one side of the yard, she'd move to the other. When he tried to make small talk with her, she'd find an excuse to walk away. And then I saw them. Ryan's son, Carlos, was playing with Emma on the swing set. They were laughing, chasing each other, being silly kids. And they looked similar. Same dark hair. Same green eyes. Same olive skin tone. Same facial structure. My stomach dropped. No, I was being paranoid. Lots of kids look similar. It didn't mean anything. But I couldn't shake the feeling. That night, after everyone left and Emma was asleep, I confronted Jessica. "Do you know Ryan Torres?" She was washing dishes, her back to me. Her shoulders tensed. "Who?" "Ryan. Carlos's dad. From Emma's class." "Oh. Not really. Just from school events. You seemed uncomfortable around him today." I wasn't uncomfortable. "Jessica, you literally avoided him the entire party." She turned around, her face flushed. "I don't know him, okay? I'm not comfortable with strangers at our house. Can we drop this? Why are you getting so defensive?" "I'm not defensive. I'm tired. It's been a long day." She stormed out of the kitchen. I stood there, my mind racing. Over the next few weeks, I couldn't let it go. I started watching Jessica more carefully. I noticed she'd take different routes when picking up Emma from school, routes that avoided running into Ryan. I noticed she'd tense up whenever his name was mentioned. And I noticed that Emma and Carlos really did look remarkably similar. I'm not proud of what I did next. One night, while Jessica was in the shower, I took her phone. I knew her passcode, she'd never hidden it from me. She had nothing to hide, right? I opened her messages. Most of it was normal. Texts with her mom, her sister, her coworkers. Shopping lists. Memes. The usual stuff? But then I found a thread that had been deleted. Or almost deleted. One message remained, from 8 years ago. From a number not saved in her contacts. The message said, "Jessica, we can't keep doing this. I'm married. You're with Michael. This has to end." The timestamp was 9 months before Emma was born. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. I scrolled through her contacts, looking for anything suspicious. Nothing. Everything had been cleaned up. Deleted. Erased. Except that one message. The one she'd missed. I took a screenshot, sent it to myself, then deleted the evidence that I'd been snooping. When Jessica came out of the bathroom, I was sitting on the bed, pretending to read. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Fine," I lied. But nothing was fine. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. For days, I walked around like a zombie, pretending everything was normal while my mind screamed. Was Emma mine? Had Jessica cheated? Was Ryan the father? The thought was unbearable. Emma was my daughter. I'd raised her. I'd been there for every moment. The idea that she might not be biologically mine, it felt like the ground was crumbling beneath my feet. I needed to know the truth. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I ordered a DNA test online. It arrived 3 days later in a discreet package. Paternity test kit. Easy to use. Results in 3 to 5 business days. All I needed was a saliva sample from Emma and one from me. Getting mine was easy. Getting Emma's felt like a betrayal. She was 6 years old, innocent, perfect. She didn't deserve to be part of this nightmare. But I had to know. One morning while brushing her teeth, I pretended the toothbrush head was loose and switched it out for the collection swab. She didn't notice. Why would she? She trusted me completely. God, I felt sick. I sent the samples to the lab that same day. Then I waited. Those 5 days were the longest of my life. I went through the motions, work, dinner, bedtime stories, but inside, I was dying. Jessica noticed. "You seem stressed. Is work okay?" "Just a big project," I lied. Emma noticed. "Daddy, why are you sad?" "I'm not sad, sweetheart. Just tired." "You should take a nap. Naps make everything better." If only it were that simple. On day 5, the email arrived. Subject, "Your DNA test results are ready." I was at work when I got it. I locked myself in my truck in the parking lot, hands shaking, heart pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I clicked the link. Entered my password. The page loaded. Probability of paternity, 0%. Conclusion, the tested man is excluded as the biological father of the tested child. The world stopped. 0%. Not 1%. Not 5%. Not inconclusive. 0. Emma wasn't my daughter. For 7 years, I'd been raising another man's child. I don't know how long I sat there. Minutes. Hours. Time didn't make sense anymore. When I finally drove home, I felt like I was watching myself from outside my body. Everything looked the same, our house, our street, our life, but nothing was real anymore. Jessica was making dinner when I walked in. Emma ran up to me, all smiles and giggles. "Daddy, look what I drew at school." She held up a picture, a stick figure family. Daddy, Mommy, and me, all holding hands under a rainbow. I wanted to die. "It's beautiful, baby," I managed to say. "Can we hang it on the fridge?" "Of course." I put her drawing up with a magnet while Jessica watched from the stove. "Dinner's almost ready," she said. I nodded. Couldn't speak. If I spoke, I'd scream. We ate dinner like a normal family. Emma chattered about school. Jessica asked about my day. I answered in monosyllables. After Emma went to bed, Jessica finally asked what I'd been dreading. "Michael, what's going on? You've been weird all week." This was it. The moment everything changed. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshot of the DNA results, and handed it to her without a word. She looked at the screen. Her face went white. Then red. Then white again. "Where did you get this?" she whispered. "I took a DNA test. For me and Emma." You what? Is she mine, Jessica?" Silence. Long, horrible silence. "Answer me." My voice rose. "Is Emma my biological daughter?" Tears started streaming down her face. "Michael, yes or no?" "No." The word came out broken. "No, she's not." The confirmation, hearing her actually say it out loud, it destroyed me. How long have you known? Since before she was born. You've known for 7 years and you never told me? I couldn't lose you. I couldn't lose our family. Our family? This isn't our family. This is a lie. Emma's voice came from upstairs, scared. Daddy? Why are you yelling? We both froze. Jessica wiped her eyes. Coming, sweetie. Daddy and I are just having a disagreement. Go back to sleep. Okay. We waited until we heard her bedroom door close. Then I said, in a low, controlled voice, tell me everything. Right now. Or I walk out that door and you never see me again. Jessica collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. And then, finally, she told me the truth. Before we dive into what she confessed, I need you to do me a favor. If you're feeling this story, drop a comment right now telling me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far the Storytime Bravo family reaches. And hit that like button if you're invested in finding out what happens next. Now, back to the story. Jessica's confession came out in broken pieces, between sobs and gasps for air. 8 years ago, we'd gone through a rough patch. I'd been working long hours, barely home, focused on getting promoted at work. Jessica felt neglected, lonely. She'd started going out with friends more, trying to fill the void. That's when she met Ryan Torres at a bar downtown. It was just supposed to be one night, she said. One stupid mistake. He was charming, attentive, everything I felt like I wasn't getting from you. We both had too much to drink. We went back to his place. And then, it happened. Once. I asked coldly. She shook her head, crying harder. 3 times. Over the course of 2 weeks. And then I realized what I was doing. What I was risking. I broke it off. Told him it was over, that I loved you, that it was a mistake. And you got pregnant. I didn't know right away. When I found out, I thought. I hoped, maybe it was yours. We were still sleeping together during that time. There was a chance. But you knew it might not be. Yes. And when Emma was born? When she started looking nothing like me. I knew. Deep down, I knew. But I couldn't face it. Couldn't admit what I'd done. So I just pushed it down. Pretended everything was fine. And Ryan? Does he know? No. I never told him. When I broke it off, I made it clear we were done. He moved on. Met Monica. Got married. Had Carlos. He has no idea Emma exists. Carlos. I laughed bitterly. Emma's half-brother. They're in the same kindergarten class. How's that for irony? Michael, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, Jessica. Sorry doesn't give me back 7 years. Sorry doesn't make Emma mine. She is yours. Biology doesn't matter. You're her father. You're the one who raised her, who loves her, who she runs to when she's scared. That's what matters. Is it? Because it feels like everything that matters is a lie right now. I stood up. Grabbed my keys. Where are you going? I don't know. Away. I can't be here right now. Michael, please. I need time to think, Jessica. About all of this. About what this means. What about Emma? What about Emma? She's asleep. She doesn't need to know her father just found out he's not her father. I regretted the words the second they came out. But I couldn't take them back. I left. I drove to my brother's house an hour away, showed up at 11 p.m., and when he opened the door and saw my face, he just said, "Come in." I told him everything. He sat there in stunned silence, then finally said, "Holy shit, Mike." Yeah. What are you going to do? I have no idea. I stayed at his place for 3 days. 3 days of trying to process the impossible. 3 days of Jessica calling, texting, begging me to come home and talk. And 3 days of missing Emma so much I physically ached. That's when I realized something. Something important. I was furious at Jessica. Betrayed. Devastated. Part of me wanted to leave and never look back. But Emma? Emma hadn't done anything wrong. She was an innocent child who loved me unconditionally. Who called me daddy. Who looked at me like I hung the moon. Biology might say she wasn't mine. But everything else said she was. I'd been there when she was born. I'd been her first word. I'd taught her to swim, to ride a bike, to tie her shoes. I'd comforted her through nightmares and celebrated her victories. 7 years of memories. 7 years of love. Did a DNA test really erase all of that? On the 4th day, I went home. Jessica was on the couch, looking like she hadn't slept in days. When she saw me, she jumped up. "Michael, I'm not here to reconcile," I said. "I'm here because I need to figure out what's best for Emma. She doesn't deserve to be collateral damage in this." "I know. Where is she?" "At my mom's. I told her you had to go away for work." I nodded. We need to talk. Really talk. About everything. And we did. 4 hours. We talked about the affair, about her reasons, not excuses, but reasons, about the lies, about the fear that had kept her silent. I was terrified, she said. Terrified that if you knew, you'd leave. That Emma would grow up without a father. That I'd lose everything. So I convinced myself that if I just never said anything, it would be okay. That you'd never have to know. But I do know now. I know. And I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to stay. But Michael, her voice broke. Please don't punish Emma for my mistakes. Please don't walk away from her. She loves you so much. I love her too, I said quietly. That's the problem. I love her more than anything. And I don't know how to reconcile that with what I know now. You don't have to reconcile it. You just have to keep being her dad. But what about Ryan? Doesn't he have a right to know? Jessica's face went pale. No. Please. Don't tell him. Jessica, he has a biological daughter he doesn't know about. He has a son. He has a family. Why destroy that? Why hurt Monica and Carlos? Because it's the truth. Since when does the truth matter more than not hurting people? I didn't have an answer for that. Over the next few weeks, Jessica and I went to couples therapy. It was brutal. Hours of crying, yelling, processing. The therapist asked hard questions. Could I forgive Jessica? Maybe. Eventually. With a lot of work. Could I stay in the marriage? I didn't know. Not yet. Could I keep being Emma's father? Yes. Absolutely. Without question. That was the one thing I was certain about. Emma was my daughter, DNA or not. I couldn't walk away from her. I wouldn't. But there was still the question of Ryan. What do I do? I asked the therapist during one session. Do I tell him? Does he have a right to know? That's not a question I can answer, she said. But I'll ask you this, what outcome are you hoping for? And who benefits from the truth coming out? I thought about it for days. If I told Ryan, what would happen? His marriage might fall apart. Carlos would find out his dad had an affair. Emma would find out the man she'd called daddy her whole life wasn't her biological father. Everyone would be hurt. Everyone would suffer. For what? For the truth? For some abstract principle of honesty? Or was keeping the secret actually the more loving choice? I struggled with this question until one day, something happened that made the decision for me. Emma's school called. She'd fallen on the playground and hit her head. They thought she might have a concussion and wanted to take her to the hospital. I raced there, my heart in my throat. Jessica met me in the emergency room. Emma was on a bed, crying, scared, a bandage on her forehead. Daddy, she sobbed when she saw me. I ran to her, held her, kissed her head. I'm here, baby. You're okay. Daddy's here. She wrapped her arms around me and buried her face in my chest. And in that moment, I knew. I knew that I was her father. Not because of genetics. But because of this. Because she needed me and I came running. Because she felt safe in my arms. Because I would do anything to protect her. That's what fatherhood is. Emma was fine, no concussion, just a bad bump. But that day changed everything for me. I sat down with Jessica that night and said, I'm not telling Ryan. She looked shocked. You're not? No. Because it wouldn't be for Emma's benefit. It would only create pain. Ryan has his family. Emma has me. That's how it should stay. Michael, thank you. I'm not doing it for you, I said honestly. I'm doing it for Emma. And for Carlos. And for Monica. They don't deserve to have their lives blown apart. What about us? Our marriage? I don't know yet. I'm still hurt. Still angry. Trust takes time to rebuild. But, I paused. I'm willing to try. For Emma. And maybe, eventually, for us too. It's been 6 months since I found out. 6 months of therapy, hard conversations, and slowly rebuilding. Jessica and I are still together, but it's different now. There's a wound that's healing, but the scar will always be there. Some days are good. Some days I look at her and remember what she did and I'm angry all over again. But then I look at Emma, laughing, playing, completely unaware of the storm that almost destroyed our family, and I remember why I'm staying. Because she needs stability. She needs love. She needs her dad. And I need her too. Ryan still has no idea. We see him at school events sometimes. He waves, makes small talk, completely oblivious. I used to feel guilty about that. Now I just feel protective. Of everyone involved. Emma turned 7 last month. At her birthday party, she stood up in front of everyone and said, I want to thank my daddy. He's the best daddy in the whole world. I love you, Daddy. I cried. Right there in front of everyone. Jessica squeezed my hand. She's right, you know, Jessica whispered. You are the best dad in the world. Not because of biology, but because of love. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Fatherhood isn't about DNA. It's about showing up, being present, loving unconditionally, choosing, every single day, to be the parent your child needs. I didn't get to choose whether Emma was biologically mine. But I do get to choose whether I'm her father. And I choose her. Every single day. I choose her. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What would you do in my situation? Would you tell Ryan? Would you stay in the marriage? Would you keep raising Emma? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments, no judgment here. I'm genuinely curious what the Storytime Bravo family thinks. And if this story moved you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next story. We're building something special here, and I'm so grateful you're part of it. The truth is, family is complicated. Love is complicated. Forgiveness is complicated. But sometimes, the most complicated choices lead to the most beautiful outcomes. I raised his child for 7 years. And then I saw the DNA test. It broke me. But it also taught me what it really means to be a father. And I wouldn't change a thing. The end. Thank you for being part of the Storytime Bravo family. Drop a comment, smash that like button, and I'll see you in the next story. Remember, love isn't about biology. It's about choice. Choose love. Always.